Enough immigration reform, separation of families, scandal, division. This 4th of July, let's have a story. Let's have a story about Americans coming together and answering the call. Americans at their best. I have such a story. It takes place on the southern edge of the land between the lakes, on Kentucky Lake, in Paris Landing, Tennessee, at Paris Landing State Park. It takes place on a 4th of July when a storm blows in. Chapter 18 of River Queens, An American Journey, Aid and Succor. The lonely and quiet aid dock we left at Paris Landing is now a confab of 4th of July preparation, perpetrated by a crowd of people so genetically intertwined it could be a cast for some sci-fi thriller. Husbands teeter from ladders to hang decorations above wives, distracted with gossip, fussing with ribbons, streamers, flags, and bows, and rendering the boathouse a riot of red, white, and blue so extreme that Betsy Ross, had she known the eventual effects, would have reconsidered her choices. New arrivals of children, food, and gear thread through the happy forward and give me some sugar as they make their way to vessels that have been in the family for years. People we've never met stop what they are doing and address us, correctly assigning names from descriptions extracted from somewhere. They know Doris Fay. They know where we've been, and with unsettling sympathy and concern ask, "How's your daddy doing?" Betty Jane has made introductions. "A fine wooden yacht doesn't sail in here every day, you know." The ones that do not belong arrive without fanfare, pack their gear into the boats without ceremony, and slip quietly into the harbor. Calypso pulls out, leaving the ebullient mayhem at the dock. She is a mid-80s, 35-foot Chris craft that looks like she could be the cruiser version of the Bartlett's Enjoy, Enjoy. Her gel coat needs buffing, spider poop stains her decks, multiple collisions have beaten her hardware to nubs. Most of her chrome is missing. Fishing tackle, stuffed wherever there is space, peeks out behind cushions and from under hatches. On deck are 4 carrot-topped little boys, stair-stepped ages 6 to 12. Andrew, the next to youngest, is impatient and whines in protest of being too often told in a minute. Their father at the wheel is a full head taller than the blonde woman who stands behind him and whose hand never leaves his shoulder. He may be the captain, but she is the admiral. "Cast off," she says quietly. The 2 older boys loosen the lines and push off. "Easy forward," she says. A baby, safely stowed below decks and out of the sun, cries. The woman, without raising her voice, says, "Aaron, see what your sister wants." The child snaps to his mother's instruction and comforts the babe below. Until the need of another instruction arises, she enjoys a moment of quiet reflection. She tilts her head back to finish a Diet Coke. Her overly large glasses catch the sun. She considers her new sandals, bringing the left one up to her knee to wipe off a smudge, and calls, without looking up, "Boys, dress those lines. Calypso, with tattered U.S. ensign fluttering over her wake, disappears beyond the bridge. Merry-Go-Round belongs to Mary and Ron, who built her. She is a houseboat, a rectangular shelter atop a steel shallow V-hull with little enough draft for easy beaching. Inside, braid rugs, paneled walls, and hand-sewn curtains make her a Swiss chalet of homespun. Mary is happiest when preparing a meal for her family in the full-size kitchen while holding a grandchild on her hip. The dinghy, also built by Ron, is a 20-foot wooden runabout named Pip. Okay, Ron says, a nimble outdoorsman who owns the local lumber yard, to his son, Ronnie. Your mom and I'll be out later. You coming in for lunch? We've got that all worked out, Papa, Mary says, passing her two granddaughters over the water to their mother waiting in Pip. Okay, Ron repeats. Like I was going to say, your mom and I will come out later and set up a beachhead. You know, the usual spot. Yes, Daddy, answers Ronnie, whose hair is prematurely graying. He turns to his grinning pixie and says, we're going to see Ronnie up on skis today, aren't we, honey? The Tooth Fairy's most recent and squirmiest client answers, yes, Daddy. I'm going tubing, her little sister asserts, by myself. We'll see, honey, Mother says. Okay, Ron says, tossing Pip's bow line into the bottom of their boat. Please be careful and please watch the weather. Yes, Daddy. Yes, Daddy, mimicked the two youngsters. Scenes like these unfold all around the marina, with the bulk of the activity concentrated at the boat ramp. Trucks and trailers stack 3 abreast to launch. Picnics, sunblock, and little children get transferred from car to boat. They complain about their PFDs being too tight and fidget until they can get underway. But when their boat lunges in to join the flotilla going out to sea, they can hardly contain their excitement. By 10 o'clock, Dale and I are all alone. The boathouse is empty, and the marina is quiet. Boaters asked if we're going to get a good place to see the fireworks, shot from the state park across the highway. They offered to let us raft up with them. But we can sail any time. The truth is, we'd rather not go out when a host of watercraft, from ski boats to cruisers, are roiling an otherwise calm river. Cottony clouds dot the afternoon sky. A barge creeps along, periodically blowing its throaty horn as admonishment for being too close or in the way. Dale? Yeah? Hand me the glasses, please. What do you see? Merry-Go-Round is coming in. So? They were going to beach somewhere on the river so they could see the fireworks. Change their minds, I guess. I guess, I say, casting my eye across the sky for signs of trouble and see none. Coming in kind of hot. Dale's not interested. I walk down and stand by her slip more as a courtesy than a necessity. Boats that are liable to ram the dock are best left to ram the dock. However, if a little nudge could save a repair, it's neighborly to be on hand to provide it. It's another way boaters look out for each other. Ron lands his vessel as if it were on a tractor beam. Mary exits the kitchen to tie lines. What's your hurry, Captain? I ask. Storm's blowing in. Gonna be bad, too, Ron says, grimacing at partly cloudy skies and a fine breeze. Coming in fast, too. NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association, predicts the changes in the weather. Rivermen sense them. And it's going to be bad, too, he repeats flatly. He calls his son on the radio. Ronnie, tune into NOAA. Your mama and me are landed, but you don't be too long, here? Yes, Daddy, comes over the airwaves. You going to be around a while, Ron asks me. I nod. Good, because we're going to be busy pulling in boats. With binoculars and radio in hand, he paces the dock as the sky thickens. The sun is gone. Blink your lights, Ron orders his son and looks through the glasses. Yeah, I see you. Now, come on in before your mother gets too worried. Mary is calm. She lays out towels, blankets, and dry clothes. Fresh coffee is in the pot. Hot chocolate is on the stove. Across the cove, the Coast Guard gets ready to deploy. They pull their PFDs tight across their chest, board their boats, and head to the river. Raindrops like crocodile tears splish-splash the surface. Wind topples tables and tears at holiday decorations. Dale has come out to look at the sky. Ever run rescue in a squall, boys? Ron asks. Our first job is to secure anything that is not tied down. He looks around and points randomly at blown debris. A balloon can clog an intake or foul a prop. The boats are the least of our problems. Captains get addled in a blow. If some jerk wants to argue, you don't have time. Push him off and let him think about it a while, and you help the next guy. He nods to emphasize what he has just said. Keep your commands simple, and for heaven's sake don't use boat talk. Back, forward, right, left is all you need. They can't hear you anyway, and most of them would not know what you were talking about if they could. And you will repeat, throw me a line and tell your horse. Isn't that right, Ronnie? Ron's son, daughter-in-law, and grandchildren landed safely in the slip next to merry-go-round. Mary is seeing to the girls. Yes, Daddy, Ronnie says. Man, it's moving in fast. The father checks to see that his son is wet but okay. Foul weather just does things to people, Ron says, looking at the landscape now shrouded in gray. You just got to stay calm. And whatever you do not go in the water. Is that clear? Yes, Daddy. Perfectly, Dale and I say together. Here they come, Ron says. A wall of boats advances on the harbor mouth as if to attack. Red and green navigation lights hover over black and choppy waves. White mast lights whip around in the air above their decks. Rain begins to strafe. Ron stands at the end of the boathouse to direct the onslaught. Dale takes one side. I take the other. We pack small craft into empty slips, the space around Betty Jane, tying the larger boats broadside, rafting the second tier next to those. Sailboats, aimed at the ladder of uncovered slips, fly in at full sail, dropping their rags at the last minute. Their crews line up to send ropes out like tentacles in hopes of snagging a hook, a cleat, a piling. Hands on the dock withstand the wind and the rain to help pull them in. Throw me a line, we hear echo all over the marina. Thunderclaps rattle the steel roof overhead as the boathouse itself pitches and rolls. Boat after boat, full of bawling children and terrorized mothers, file in under cover and lash themselves to whatever. The children, indiscriminate of whose, get past to safety, swaddled in a towel, pointed to where to stand, and warned to stay out of the way. Some watch in awe. Others, desperate to escape the chaos, scream to drive away the terror until their faces are beet red. We'll find Mama later is all the comfort they will get. Mama is pulling in boats. The rescued become the rescuers. Throw me a line. Pull her in. Everyone all right? Not that slip. Not that slip, Ron says, keeping one of the largest berths empty for the better part of an hour. She's coming in, he insists. She's coming in, I said. I've got her on the radio, and she's coming in, damn it. The boat he is expecting is a floating lake house, 100 feet long and 20 feet wide, designed to be run up on a beach somewhere for weeks at a time. She is nothing but a box on a raft, a sail in the wind, essentially, and underpowered to outmaneuver weather like this. She is caught in the blow and could smash to bits against the bridge pilings. She has to turn. Hard rudder, Ron whispers to himself. Her lights flash and her horns squawk in panic, but there's nothing anyone can do but watch as she gets blown into the rocks. The coasties will get her if she sends up a flare or calls Mayday, but her crew is too proud for that. For a moment, a mere trice, the wind abates long enough for her captain to bring her nose around. The twin engines on her stern swing perilously close to the riprap. By this time, everyone who is coming in has. No sign of Calypso. A crowd pushes in to watch. Here she comes, and if she makes it, Ron yells, it's going to take every one of us to land her. If we can't, we'll have to let her go. Apprehension grows as the behemoth pushes slowly across the white caps. Her captain fights for every inch. Her crew stands by in the deluge. Full reverse, Captain, the man on the bow calls back to the stern. Throw a line. She has to get her nose into the boathouse so that she can get some leverage against the wind dogging her stern. Until she does, a rope is just going to pull a man overboard. She gets her bow into the slip with the crunch of metal and the tear of fiberglass. Hard port rudder, punch it! Her heft, like an elephant scratching a tree, shifts the boathouse, causing everyone inside to find a handhold. Grab a line! Grab that line! Teams of men duke it out against Mother Nature herself. If we let go, she takes out the opposite dock and every boat in it. If we hold on, she swings around and crushes her length into the vessels we've just tied in. Straighten her out, Captain. That's it. Now power. God damn it, power. No. Full reverse. Slack those lines before someone goes in. Between the mayhem on the dock and the confusion on board, the captain manages to center his craft in her slip just long enough for Ron to call, "Okay, men, pull. Pull, you bastards, pull." She's in. A cheer goes up in the boathouse, and my hands are bloody. "Shut her down, Captain, you're here. Welcome home," Ron says, as if the landing were under sunny skies and light winds, adding, "Nice work," his scant acknowledgement of the ordeal. The sky ruptures one last time before the storm heads off to the southeast, leaving behind a boathouse in shambles. The decorations are tattered and torn. The spangles are blown away. The sparklies have all been trod under muddy foot. But the celebration will not be daunted. Coolers and baskets pop open as people who haven't known each other but for a moment spontaneously ask each other, "Want a beer? You hungry?" We're all starving from the stress, if not the exertion. Wet, half-naked people, upright in blown-over chairs, leaning on decks, sitting on coolers, find a place on the dock. Camp stools, cushions, and air mattresses come out of boats. A company of men head into the lingering drizzle and to shore, where they light portable grills. The hot dogs and the weenies will follow as soon as they can be found. Families separated by too many people and too much gear decide to wave furiously from across slips, calling, "You okay? Man, did you see that? See it? We lived it in a way that is real, visceral, and raw." Every boater weathers a storm, but few weather one where there is as much at stake. None of these people belong to this boathouse or even know these other people. Urgency brought them together. The last drops fall into the water. We are fed, and the excitement has worn off. A park ranger announces that the weather has officially passed. There will be fireworks, and if y'all hurry, you can still get a good spot. Like passengers at the boarding call of a long-delayed flight, the mob gets up slowly, stretches, and begins to claim its belongings. All mamas have been found. They return to their boats. Untangling the mess takes as much as the tying in. Boats start up and cast off as soon as they are released from those around them. Their passengers wave, saying, "See ya, nice to have met you," and thanks as they speed away. Dale and I walk across the highway to the campground where those who have spent the afternoon chasing tents have assessed the damages and made repairs. Fireworks explode behind a gauzy cloud deck like psychedelic lightning. A radio blasts the popular post-9/11 anthems, and I recall another 4th of July, on a levee, standing in front of a steam-driven Ferris wheel loaded with squealing girls in Fort Smith, Arkansas, 1 year ago. Gosh, what if we had scuttled the trip, I think to myself. If we had scuttled the trip, we would not be here today to witness Americans, fiercely individual, independent, and selfish at times, come together in a crisis. It is that ethos, the one with gumption to sail across the new world and teamwork to settle the West, that is especially apparent from the pace and perspective of a boat. The next morning, we shove off before the holiday traffic even wakes up. Dale checks his gauges, I cast off lines. Betty Jane pushes into the rising sun even as Calypso is still not back. And the phone rings. It is Sister. Chapter 18, Aid and Succor, of River Queens, An American Journey, scheduled for release October 2018. At the website are pictures of me and Dale, Doris Faye and Betty Jane. There's a sample read. There's an opportunity to purchase your pre-publication copy. Come visit us on the river.